Hey, this is episode 6 of Disco Elysium.
Went native on the chief, huh? Those ballerina antics were reckless. Should have just punched him in the throat again.
Wrong. You did the right thing with Measurehead. The ballerina antics won you the fight.
Let's talk about our right to work.
What is a strike?
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
What do the strikers want?
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we have the right to work!
He raises his fist and starts shouting again.
When the man moves around, you perceive some serious abs underneath his tight-fitting shirt. This man is in shape. There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
Ill-fitting? What does that mean?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence.
You wearing new clothes?
He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what. You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
Okay, I gotta ask. Where exactly are you from?
What's it to you?
Deep-set suspicion drips from every syllable. Routine part of the investigation.
Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
I already got that. I'm interested in your background.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
Bouncer, where? I frequent a lot of bars. Maybe it's one I know.
Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell?
Not right now, but I might have been there. I don't really remember things well.
Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
Damn, that felt good. Your heart's pounding nicely. You should tell people to fuck off more often.
Kim, I think I should tell people to fuck off more often. It felt really good.
Not as a general rule. That one was justified. Better to get the lay of the land before telling people to fuck off.
It's not really my style.
Hey, I've got an idea on how to fix your style. Maybe you should just go fuck yourself, yeah? Ever thought of that?
Yes, maybe.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says, 1 bottle equals 10 cents. You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The raincoats are transparent, except for the big Fritta slogan on the back.
I want to buy a raincoat.
Here you go. Welcome to Frit. Feel free to look around or something. Everything is out on the shelves.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Before we go on, what is this Frit?
I don't know. Frit?
And what is Frit?
A 7 to 11 grocery store.
Why is it written with 3 T's?
I think they think that the extra T makes it funkier.
She shows on her
doesn't.
gum with disgust.
The story goes that normal Fritta, with 2 T's, a men's workwear shop in Vredefort, was already taken. So when Fritta Retail Inc. grew into a multinational corporation, they had to add an extra letter to avoid trademark infringement.
What magazine are you reading?
You mean this?
She looks at the cover, boasting a colorful photo of 2 girls kissing.
This is Pop Stars. It's got, like, famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
Forget about all that. What this is, Fashion Police feature. Point to the cover.
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish.
Who's the numero uno guy in there right now? Does it look like this? Point at yourself. Her lazy eyes scanning up and down your body, assessing the situation.
No, I don't think so.
We are not the fashion police. We're the real police.
Let's proceed. I have some questions for you.
Okay. I'm not really supposed to be chatting to anyone, but...
I need to change this novelty check for cash. Give her the novelty check and gain 25 real.
Wow. I didn't know you worked for the union, sir.
She rolls up the joint novelty check. Looks like she's seen it before and slips it under the counter.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, you don't work for the union. The union works for you by supplying you with...
Exactly.
Blow the whole thing on speed and gin right now. Speed and gin. Great combo. Ask some local dealers, maybe.
Does Frit have a warehouse in the back of the Whirling Rats?
A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
This is important.
She scrunches up her face into an expression of consummate adolescent skepticism.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
Can you tell me anything about the dead body?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but I haven't seen it, so...
Did you know the man who died?
Not really.
Does that mean you knew him a little?
No. I didn't know him at all.
Thank you for your help.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me anything about this reality we're in?
Reality? You mean, what reality? Economic reality, or...?
She is like a student unexpectedly called upon by a teacher.
Yes, tell me about the
Can she
economic
answer
reality.
the classroom question?
I don't really know anything. I mean, I'm 15.
15 is an excellent time to learn about the economic reality.
Yeah, that's why I'm working my arse off in Frit. So I guess, like, that's economic.
What about the fiscal reality?
I don't know. What about it?
What is the revolution?
When ordinary people take over the government and demands democracy.
What about the one we had here in Russia?
Yeah, it happened like 50 years ago or so. Sorry, I'm not very good at this. At history, I mean.
I won't bother you with this nonsense anymore.
Cool.
A colourful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles line the shop wall, inviting you closer.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. Here you go, mister.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. They all bear the Saint Baptiste Pharmaceutics logo.
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Who is Saint
Saint Baptiste. You know, the pharmaceuticals company. Saint Baptiste Pharmaceuticals. The one that sells meds out of Saint Baptiste. That one. There.
She is right. Saint Baptiste, the company, derives its name from Saint Baptiste, the city. Itself so named because that's what it is. A rare case where that really is the full etymological history. As far as almost anyone knows, at least.
A good one? Point to the book.
Yes? Hello?
She nods her attention, fully focused on reading. Who are you?
Me? No one. I'm just a working class woman.
She doesn't really want to be disturbed that much. If she's such a working class woman, why isn't she working?
Shouldn't a working class woman be working?
Not all the time. Right now I'm browsing books. Even a working class woman needs something to read.
Good. No.
It is.
I'm a policeman.
I know you are.
Everyone can see that. The rectangles.
Do you need help of a policeman?
What with?
Maybe your husband is busy.
My husband? No, he's not.
So where could he be?
I don't know. At home now? Out drinking with his friends? Working?
Where is this going, officer?
Right, got it.
She gives you a short nod and shifts her attention back to books.
Watch her browse books.
Her hands move over the book covers. The tips of her fingers look rough, stained with yellow. It seems like she has spent a lot of time at work, smoking. Another comrade. Years of labor are pressing down on her shoulders. She deserves a hug for all the work she's done for mankind. An array of neurons fire up with joy. Bum her a cigarette, lest it turn to pain.
Do you smoke?
No, I don't.
I know for a fact that you smoke.
Why do you think that I smoke?
Your hands look like they belong to a heavy smoker.
It's not like yours look much better.
Take a look at your hands.
She is right. Your hands look even worse than hers, with tiny cuts and gushes covering your skin like a spider web. Your fingertips have become an ugly shade of brown. These are the hands of someone who's smoked for at least 20 years, as evidenced by the discoloration of fingers. Marks on your skin may point to past quarrels.
Just give me a cigarette, please.
I already told you I don't have any. Go bother some...
She's lying. She's goddamn lying. She has smokes.
Do you know where I could get a new pack?
From the kiosk? There's one near the harbor. It's Frita. You can look it up.
Rita. Okay, thanks, no problem.
She sighs.
Give her a hug.
You step in and close your arms around this foreign body, wandering astray in touch. There's a small movement beneath your hands as you shut your eyes. Then a tiny voice breaks out and asks,
What is happening?
She seems to be confused. Your hands are wrapped around her polyester coat. The fabric feels cold, moist from the sea nearby.
Keep hugging.
The situation is oddly intimate. Your cheek is pressed against her shoulder. Her hand is trapped between your chest. 5 seconds pass, and their passing seems so unimaginably long. Then she coughs and says again,
What are you doing, officer?
I am fighting for the working class.
Fighting for it how?
How could they give the bourgeois away?
Oh,
There's a strange sensation that a woman strengthens her grip. She's hugging you back.
I guess it's better than nothing. Keep fighting on, my fellow comrade.
And she breaks up the hug, her cheeks flushed.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
That's all for the moment. I'll let you read.
The woman before you nods and returns to her reading.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full of fossilized bubblegum, rendering the machine permanently inaccessible.
Vandalism. Shake your head.
Probably some kids.
Poor little viewer. Bad.
The metal feels cold and wet under your palm.
Look inside.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk, written on the other side. with N and C scribbled backwards. That's Kuno on the lens.
Shift your focus to the background.
Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast, studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts. Lanky, weather-worn wooden plates. An X-shaped cross topping its tower. You know this to be the star of Pericarnassus, or the Cairo. The central symbol of the Pericarnassian church. A star. A great moral height to be strived towards.
There must be another way into the building.
Look at me when I'm working for you.
Captain, eh?
A sturdy metal door guards the door rattled.
Stop banging on the door! The police? No. Go check.
Backyard door.
Hey, up here, Pigo.
Yes?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I spoke with the lorrymen at the roundabout.
On the contrary, officer. There are yet camionneurs you have not talked to. And don't look so surprised. In a time like this, it would be strange if Wild Pines didn't have eyes on the harbour.
What? I talked to
They
them.
must have someone in an overlook position, near the gates.
I suggest you go back and canvass for more suspects.
By the way, I've talked to Everard Clare.
You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare?
Finally, time to choose sides.
Beautiful and just. It's not important if I like him. I was doing my job.
Of course, Detective. Excuse me for implying otherwise.
The RCM does not pick sides in this. I hope it doesn't come off any other way.
Of course. And I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I'm not a corrupt verm myself. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would only be gossiping.
Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her she'll like you for it.
Mr. Everard is helping me find my gun.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
That's very helpful.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
No.
Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else?
Or we'll talk about something else.
Of course, Detective. Should something come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. Until then, is there anything I can help you with?
I got some questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day.
What are you?
Go ahead. What I am not is a basic term of reality.
She smiles.
There may be a way to get her speaking about herself at some later juncture.
What is this? Spread your hands.
A bird? A Svenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions?
I mean, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After, les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
She looks up at the crumbling facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off. Splat, splat.
From a dilapidated balcony, a young girl in odd clothes gives Joyce the evil eye. A red paintbrush held to her throat.
Wonderful.
What is that? Points to Cindy the Skull.
The girl in the old lady rags.
Yeah.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
Okay, now explain the same thing, but to a child. Or not. I understand everything. Make it more complicated somehow.
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
Suddenly, you're not so sure you're part of the supraculture.
Let it go.
Of course, no time for silly infracultures. There are more pressing, reality-centric questions to be asked.
What is reach for something fundamental?
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The fading pearls of her eyes look to the sea.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
She concludes.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it. In the DeLorean century. When humanity was high on this world. Discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Elysium. The world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the petro-fascists.
I've got a clear picture. Let's proceed to another term.
Let's. I am, after all, bourgeois and female. Hardly the perfect ambassador for the world.
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality.
What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late.
Too late for what?
For the big time.
Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
You got a predator streak.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where you get to file your teeth.
What's the big time?
The revolution.
And what is this revolution I keep hearing about?
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
Would you say it was a bunch of apes duking it
Why,
out?
of course. We're talking Duke Out Central. Full swing intra-species warfare.
And the apes, were they evil?
No. I would say the apes were neutral.
They're good apes, actually.
I don't know about that.
She turns north to the bombed-out building lining Woodfront, then shivers slightly. Who got shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Did the communists and anarchists shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
That's a tragedy. Sounds like they should have shot more people in the head.
This does not represent the official RCM account.
Biggest communist builder. Okay.
Don't worry. Klaus Mazov shot 15 million people in the head. But that was all the way over in Grad.
Anyone else got shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Cowardly king.
I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing, so he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Who got the mineral rights?
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
Okay, and by liberals you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did the liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
We. She's one of them. Of course.
If everyone got shot, who was there to surrender to?
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do. The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head.
Seems fair.
At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now. the coalition government.
The rulers of Revachol, and also the world. These guys are strong.
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Not just technically, practically. For a moment, there was hope.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. In your line of work, I mean.
When was this, Kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Who started it?
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain.
Where did
Then
it spread
Marzolf
from?
came along and overthrew the government. From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Marzolf's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
What happened to the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-Islary communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Wait, you're saying it's been like this for 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all that time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. '08 to '19 was simply hell.
And after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are.
She curtsies.
Welcome to reality, baby.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
They chose wisely.
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You would have sided with the king?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
What would you have done different?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Saras drove those people mad.
A cold creeps up your spine, reaching its tendrils up your neck, toward the back of your head.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion? A complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago.
With some hygiene, modest social care, and perhaps a little research
The
program.
wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. The charge dissipates into the dark water. All is quiet on the Martinez inlet.
There is peace in the heart.
Good hygiene. Really. A very moderate solution to an extreme problem. It's those sort of half measures that doomed the authorities in Grad. When they failed to step up, Marzov and his party stepped in. In this particular case, maybe a more robust state response might have been appropriate.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Understandable.
That's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Now's your chance. Ask her who she is. She won't get out this time.
Seriously, I want to know what you are. Jobs.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
Stop dodging. What are you?
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor. A devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
It's sharp.
Dios mío, Cross, a liberal.
Yes. I am the nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. I pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. My kind surrendered the nation to financial colonists. I can see you thought we'd gone extinct. After all, no sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You're a centrist at heart. A real moralist, no? Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, do you find me frightening?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
I forgive you.
I do hope so. I hope we're able to remain collegial despite it. Remember, we were partners, whether you like to admit it or not. There's blood on many hands, I assure you. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future.
She turns the gaze to the Delta.
This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake, then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it.
You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
That's all for now. Conclude now.
Glad to have been of assistance.
You're on a
The little-
boat.
Why, yes I am.
Not a lot of people on boats, are there?
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around?
But we're on an archipelago. Look around.
Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Cairo. I thought we were in Rivershore.
We are. And the city of Revachol is on the island of Le Caillou.
Still, I haven't seen anyone else sail a boat around here.
I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor carriage either.
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and pursuit vehicle. It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's not a toy.
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol, between the city and the islands.
You need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich.
Why?
Why what? Stop thinking. Take her down.
It'll come off like a Memmius, and I'm not.
You're not? Okay then. Just keep on admiring the boat then. Unburdened by envy.
Does she have a name?
The boat? No. It is called Cordelati 19 because that's the type of sloop it is.
Okay, but what kind of boat is it?
It's a pleasure craft. A 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. Though these days I mainly use it for business.
How do you like it?
My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the eel's hips, baby.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do with the murder we're investigating.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet?
Do you have a
He's looking
license
at
for
the
this
woman.
boat?
Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft operator.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the boat's hull as she smiles. Qualified pleasure craft operator. So charming.
Can I see
Where's
your
the
license?
damn...
I just renewed its safety inspection last month, officers. It is completely seaworthy. In fact, it's taken part in not one, but two insulindic regattas. Even finished once.
Still need to see a license, man.
Actually, you don't.
What do you mean?
The Wayfarer Act specifically denies the RCM the authority to demand anyone's operator license. It's a little-known fact among us law officials.
The Wayfarer Act is one of the few pieces of legislation governing human interaction in the Revachol Zone of Control, along with the Emergency Trade and Ailments Acts.
What now?
It's one of the foundational laws in Revachol, designed to limit the authority of local institutions. Part of it prohibits the RCM from requesting most documents and licenses without permission from a coalition representative. It's a law that keeps Revachol what it is, in limbo.
Okay, forget the stupid Wayfarer Act. I had another question.
About the boat?
I think I have a handle on the boat. Thanks.
Good.
Thank you, that's all for now.
What's this? We're getting reports of normal, reasonable, temperate, political opinions somewhere in Martinez.
That's me, Mr. Reasonable. Someone got to keep it sane around here.
The air suddenly feels calmer, more transparent in a strangely tender way. Perhaps it's the hangover. Perhaps it's a temporary surge of serotonin. But something tells you it's time to become a citizen of the Kingdom of Conscience.
First, where is this Kingdom of Conscience?
It is not a place. It is a moment in time that can only arise in the right circumstances. In all of human history, it's only been achieved a handful of times.
How do you bring about those circumstances?
Incrementally. Yawn. You'd get there faster with a little speed. History's greatest catastrophes have been brought about by people trying to make the world a better place. Too quickly. That's the genius of Dolores Day. She recognized that progress is meaningless if its gains are lost because of instability. Real, lasting change can only come about gradually, increment by increment.
But what about all the things that are wrong now?
Tisk tisk. Just because you live in the present doesn't mean you have the right to place your needs above the needs of the future. You may never live to see the Kingdom of Conscience. Your children may not. Even your grandchildren might not. But that's no excuse not to keep working. What rationality? What a fucking joke.
Wait, is the Kingdom of Conscience really about doing things or just preserving the status quo?
Do you believe the status quo is preferable to chaos and bloodshed?
Yes.
There you have it. Sometimes holding the line is progress.
Okay, but what's the Kingdom of Conscience actually like?
The kingdom is difficult to comprehend, and even more difficult to describe, partly because humanity will need to discard many of the categories that define and limit it today. The Kingdom of Conscience is post-capitalist, post-national. It's also post-industrial, post-ideological, and even post-sexual.
Sounds incredible. Alonzi. Let's go there right now.
Slow down, Mr. Reasonable. Did you miss the part about compromising and taking things slow?
Alright, then let's get there eventually.
That's right. Remember, real democracy is just around the corner for Revachol. When that real democracy kicks in, a long time from now, we are all going to be so much happier. There it is, a brave little army in your pocket. The first Smokes platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute, ready to step into fire for you, sir.
Pull one out of the pack.
You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent. What are you waiting for? Light up. Re-become yourself.
Light it up.
Get a load of this rock and roll cop here, people. Johnny Thundercop fishes a cheap lighter out of his pants. With a flick of the thumb, there's fire. A primal satisfaction. Here we go.
What are the repercussions if I do this?
Repercussions? There's a high risk of glory, with a mild chance, cool genius. Smoking makes you into an intellectual. Everybody knows that. It will help you concentrate a bit. That much is true.
Dip that bad boy in flames and breathe in.
Thick, warm smoke gets sucked down into your lungs. Immediately, you feel a warm nostalgia fill your head, body, and soul. A nostalgia for yourself. The man you were in your youth. Johnny Thundercop is back, and he's chill as balls.
In there.
In the bottom right corner of the screen, there's a cigarettes button. Cigarettes gives +1 to intellect skills. Logic, rhetoric, conceptualization, visual calculus, encyclopedia, and drama. This is good before a white check, but damages your health.
A sturdy metal door guards the side. The door.
Stop banging on the door. Now go to
Backyard door.
Hear a distant squall of seabirds. Splatter of bullet holes lines the wall. It's hard, you know. It's just so hard sometimes.
Vigilance officer, what can this old carabinier do for you?
Renee, I found your guard booth.
Yes, the Debardeurs Union pays me to stand vigil during the night. Not out of any political allegiance, mind you. I'm an old man. Don't sleep more than a few hours every night anyway, and money is tight.
You must have seen something on the night of the murder. Your booth looks right into the yard.
Yes, it does. Unfortunately, I wasn't working that night. Been on a 2-week leave since last Monday.
Hold on, why are you on leave?
It's a private matter. Nothing to do with your investigation.
You see, officer, René is the kind of man who'd rather die than admit he needs medical assistance or, God forbid, sick it. A real man's man is just gonna ride it out.
I'm fine, goddammit. Mind your own business. It's nothing. Just got to cut back on coffee.
The outburst makes him clutch his chest. So who was working your shift that night?
No one. The boss has been unmanned since last Monday.
He looks suddenly very...
There's no other guard. It's just me.
No one has been guarding the container yard since last Monday.
Yes. It's not actually an issue. I mean...
Look, officers, the container yard doesn't actually need a guardsman. Never had one before René. Monsieur Claire had that booth built specially for him. It's mostly decorative.
Mostly decorative.
The possibility of someone being in there is enough to discourage any ill-minded individuals.
He tries to argue.
Evrard created this job for René because he knows the Royal Carabiners' pension of honor and PTSD isn't something a man can live off. A decorated Kingsman collecting there reflects bad on the whole neighborhood. His words.
René is but one man. We need a program. Get all the elderly back in the job market. Keep folks motivated.
Look, officer, can we conclude the topic of my guard booth now?
I saw a picture in there. You were in it. Who's the girl?
She is nobody. This is none of your concern, and I refuse to discuss my private affairs with the RCM.
The lady is Jeanne-Marie Beaulieu, and she sure as hell wasn't a nobody.
Got it, thanks.
Yes. Like I said, it would be up anyway, so might as well keep an eye out. It keeps my senses sharp.
I saw the statue of Philippe III near the roundabout.
Ah, yes. King Philip III on his steed. A reminder of what Revachol once was.
Oh, absolutely. At the mercy of a cocaine-snorting tyrant who emptied the treasury so he could sleep on a bed of gold.
A superpower, feared and respected. A testament to what this country can be under the leadership of a true king. Someone who knows how to rule.
How should a true king rule?
Decisively, without fear of offending the sensibilities of the frail and weak-minded among his subjects. This is something the insurgents never understood.
Powerful leaders, not afraid to do what must be done. That's what this country needs.
Revachol would be a different place if more people realized that.
He gently
We
rubs
could
his chest.
still be the...
Don't get started on that again. What happened, happened.
There is some weirdness in his voice now. He's heard his rant many times before.
The Carabiner doesn't reply, but his entire being communicates unbreakable resolve.
Let's talk about something else.
Right.
Thank you for that.
There, working class drunk. You know what this means, right?
Case solved.
Cracked it. All in a good day's work.
Wait, what did I crack exactly?
What do you mean, what did I crack? Look at how working class that drunk is.
It's her husband. The missing husband.
Yes, and you found him. Now go and tell the working class woman. Protect and serve, recruit. Didn't she repeatedly tell you her husband isn't missing though?
This doesn't add up. I'm only making a fool of myself.
Do marriages make any sense? Does honor? You're not a filthy philosopher. You're an officer of law. It's time to ace this case and not brood over your reputation. We can deal with the perception management later.
Give me champagne, I'm going in.
There's no need for champagne when there's honor, recruit. Go and tell the working class woman what you found right now. It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota.
What? Sounds like my stomach is growling.
Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow.
Vows?
The vows are blood and flesh.
Blood! What is my lower intestine going on about?
Lower intestine? The term is metabolic and circulatory system.
Okay, but what's the hard stuff?
Fascism, Brota.
What is fascism?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachel's problems?
I thought you were my circulatory system.
Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link.
Liberals.
Yes, them. But also, women.
Women!
Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place.
Am I having some kind of stomach seizure?
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
Why am I getting this?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
Fascism sounds so bad though. What if we call it something else, like traditionalism?
Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking. That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You like the sound of that.
Okay, Stomach, I made up my mind about fascism.
You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota.
Absolutely not. I'm not going to be played by an upset stomach.
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment.
The book says you must attain a Franco-Nogrian horde body at the nearest gym. Protection, sir, madam. I found your husband.
God damn it, I already told you. My husband isn't missing.
But you said you didn't know where he was.
And I specifically added that I didn't need to know where he was.
Well, I found him nevertheless. I'm that good.
Very well then. Where is he?
There, point to the working class drunk near the sea.
Excuse me? I don't follow.
I found a working class drunk and I thought he might be yours.
Right, 'cause working class women come with alcoholic husbands. You know what?
Remember, about that what. Never ever say what.
Something bad, I guess. I'm sorry. I say stupid things sometimes. I didn't mean to annoy you.
You were right. I do have an alcoholic husband. Although not that one.
But you told me your husband's all right.
I did, and he is. He's also an alcoholic.
So is he missing as well?
No, he's not. Or maybe he is, I don't know. He's probably in the park, or in Shamrock somewhere. Drinking with his friends.
Chinooks away.
I haven't seen him for... Well, to hell with him.
She has completely forgotten about the book, staring blank into the distance instead. Kim, is it just me, or do we have a missing persons case?
I wouldn't be so sure.
He replies before turning to face the working class woman.
Man, just to be completely clear, do you want to report it to the police?
Report what? He's just out drinking with his friends. I'm sure the police has better things to do than to chase down local goofballs.
Not at all. The RCM is ready to chase down every goofball in town. We care about you.
She sighs, but you can detect a slight hint of gratitude and relief from her face.
All right, go ahead. Do you have any questions?
What does your husband look like?
Honestly, not that different from you.
She eyes you from head to toe. Like a late-stage alcoholic, then.
That's one way to put it, yes. No offense. I'd also add he's a little bit chubby.
Wait, did she just imply that you're fat? You're not fat. The body type she's referring to is called a Franco-Nigerian hard body.
I see. What else?
What else? He was wearing a dark brown leather jacket with a bright blue inner lining. The lining is hand-sewn. I made it myself.
She sighs, her voice slightly quivering when she adds.
It's his cool jacket. God knows it's too cold to run around in this, but he refuses to change. I even tried throwing it away once, but he just dug it out of the bin. Can you believe it?
She looks back at you, shaking her head. Well, if that jacket is really that cool, then I can totally understand.
Well, what can you do? I hope that at least that extra lining helps him keep warm at night. I wouldn't like him to catch cold.
When did you last see him?
Yesterday morning. He went to the library. He went to retrieve my book, and he promised he'd walk straight back home. Because we talked about this. We talked about not wandering off again. I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do with his addiction. Just makes me feel weak.
Gone for around 36 hours then. Damn, this is a missing persons case. She turns away from you in an attempt to recover.
I think I got it, thanks.
So you are going to look for him?
Yes, I will bring you home back to you.
Thank you. Please do. Even though I'm sure he will return home by himself. I'm still sure of that.
I'm sure he will too. When he does, would you let Christian 57, Kim Kitsuragi, know?
He gives her a slip of paper.
I will. Of course, officer. As I said, it's probably nothing.
Maybe your children are missing.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, so where are they?
Are you a policeman or a nanny?
I please, whatever I want. Where are they?
They are not missing, sir.
You know where they are. They're at home, smoking, giving the ladder of vices a chance.
Okay, great. Just making sure.
I see.
Maybe your cockatoo is missing.
I don't mean to disrespect, sir, but you are being a bit of a cockatoo here.
For what it's worth, I agree. But cockatoos can't be stopped when they get ladies. It's better to indulge him at this point.
What do you mean I'm being a cockatoo?
Nothing. Go read up on them if you're so interested. There's a great book in the bookstore.
Maybe you should. What if the cockatoo is your astral captain? Or your heraldic bird?
Actually, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Thanks for the tip. Get task.
Wonderful. The store is open.
Hey, how's it going? Put the cookie down, indeed. Yeah, fucking fascist guy, shut that shit down. It's enough that I'm some sort of mega liberal and a communist at the same time.
Sword-wielding barbarian on the cover. A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are...
So how you doing?
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels.
Everyone knows the most interesting thing about fascists was their magic. Oh, okay, I see.
A sulfur-crested cockatoo sits on the cover, its beak slightly open. It looks as if the bird is calling out the book title, From A to Zurich, a guide to a well-behaved cockatoo.
Flip through the pages.
Turns out that there are so many different cockatoo species, and they all have behavioral problems.
What about this guide to cockatoos, storekeeper?
It's a must-have if you own a cockatoo. I've heard they're quite capricious.
I want to buy the guide to cockatoos.
Oh, a nature enthusiast. Good choice. I knew it was a good idea to keep that around.
Yeah, I'm okay. My feet are completely messed up. Like it feels like I have bruises on the bottom of my feet, and it's like red, bluish. I think I walked a bit too much, and I got like nicks and cuts on my feet and some blisters and shit. But other than that, it's pretty fine. I only stayed out like one night, so like for 2 days. But I walked like 40 kilometers or something. So yeah, it was a bit. But I got like 100 video clips, so I should be able to cut some YouTube materials.
A cockatoo is a parrot with an erectile crest, found on the Seminine Islands and in southern Fas a la Mer. Known for their intelligence and general precociousness, cockatoos are popular birds in aviculture. However, they often exhibit various behavioral issues.
Okay.
This book talks about the delicate nature of toos, as well as introducing some of the most popular species among the bird enthusiasts. The funeral cockatoo, the major majestic cockatoo, and the most common bang bang cockatoo.
The bang bang
It's
cockatoo.
colorfully illustrated.
Alright, what problems do these birds have?
Where to even begin? All cockatoos are known for their needy natures, requiring attention for at least 2 full hours a day. They love to talk, and have been described as lovable clowns who just don't know how to wrap up.
I could handle that. It would be nice to have someone to talk to when feeling lonely.
Pet owners also report moodiness, loudness, and hostility as recurring issues. If left unsatisfied, cockatoos may scream non-stop, pluck their feathers, or become aggressive.
Right, that's pretty bad. Anything else?
It is not recommended to get a cockatoo if you're not able to cook them food every day and give them the full care that they need. These birds will never understand that you have a life of your own.
Yes, but there has to be something great about cockatoos as well.
You're right. Cockatoos are magnificent creatures. They love to perform, cuddle and show off, and will even scream for fun, often as loud as up to 135 decibels.
How fun.
Not great for the neighbors. Performing? Yes, birdie.
Read about the funeral cockatoo.
This is a yellow-tailed black cockatoo. Its specific name, Psittacus venereus, relates to its dark and somber plumage. This bird looks as if dressed for a funeral, 24/7. There is something indisputably ominous about it.
Read about the major majestic cockatoo.
Perhaps the most impressive of all the species, the endangered major majestic cockatoo, is often described as the most flamboyant bird in the jungle. Its pink-colored wings and flowing crest embellishing its proud and bumptious nature. In the words of poet-explorer Sir James Fournier, few birds more enliven the monotonous hues of the verdant forest than this big, bold, and beautiful species.
Read about the most common bang bang cockatoo.
Despite its banging name, the bang bang cockatoo is actually the shyest of the species, common in almost all Seminoles forests, as well as zoos and homes all over the world. Its plumage is mainly grey and white. The Seminoles name, bang bang, is thought to be of onomatopoeic origins.
Honestly, this bird does sound a bit like me.
Yes, but all those cockatoo species are so different. Which one are you?
But what if I'm just a fuck up or two? A fuck up and a cockatoo?
You're right. You're a fuckatoo embodied. This sorry-ass bird belongs on your heraldry. It probably doesn't even have feathers and only screams.
Yeah, indeed, the writing is pretty awesome. But if I got it correctly, like the Disco Elysium now is like a remake, and it wasn't like narrated all the way through earlier. They like did that after, I think. But yeah, the writing is awesome, and like the voices and shit is also awesome. So it's definitely underrated. A fuck up or two.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here.
What kind of boots?
Heavy workers' boots with reinforced toes and hobnails, all over the yard. Isn't this something an industrial worker would wear?
Lieutenant, worker boots tracks. Point to them.
Noted.
Visual calculus, medium 11. Get an exact count.
8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Where else have we seen a gang of men in work boots? That's right. The hardy boys in the mess hall of whirling in rags.
Go over them one by one.
1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46. Just like Titus was wearing in his booth. This is the big dick. Titus Hardy. The one with the bald cap on his head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because like everything is narrated so far. Like I haven't encountered a single character that isn't fully narrated. Like yeah, every like word of like voice line is narrated, and then yeah, there are some like emotions and shit that they throw in. But yeah, it's very very nice. It would be. I'm guessing that it didn't have the breakthrough that it could have, since it's a lot to read. Like, yeah, I guess it would be kind of hard to grab, like, not people who are like super into role-playing games if they had to read like 6 million lines of text. It's like telling someone nowadays to go play Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Like, yeah. It's not gonna happen because it's like reading 6 million lines of text. That said, though, I'm gonna play Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition that I bought a while ago at some point here. So I'm guessing my throat is gonna get fucked from all the all the narration I'm gonna have to do in that game. Because I think it's very little, if I remember it correctly, and I think the Enhanced Edition doesn't really add a lot of voice acting. So, yeah. Interesting.
Is it? They didn't even bother to change boots. Putting them on the scene is easy. Maybe even too easy.
Keep counting.
2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. Either the blonde muscular guy, Glenn, or the young guy with a plectrum around his neck. 3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. The inked banger, perhaps. 4. Standard work boot. Number 45 or 46. Theo, the old smoker. You think you even see a tiny fleck of cigarette ash inside the print.
What else?
5. Another standard work boot. Reinforced toes. Number 44. Same as before. Either the musician, Eugene, or the muscle-bound blonde, Glenn. 6. Light as air. Same make of boot, but number 41. Small like a rat. Shanky.
I'm pretty good at this, ain't I?
You're not bad. It's as if the whole world darkens, and the tracks burn in it with strange beauty.
Count the rest.
7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot. Number 46. The imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. Fat Angus. Carrying something?
And the last one?
8. Another standard work boot. Number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole. The right sole is smoother, more worn. Curious. A missing 8th Hardy Boy.
7 sets of tracks, right? The Hardy Boys were here.
The lieutenant has been tracking your eye movement. 8, actually.
That's all? Interesting. Then one of them seems to be missing. Anything else out of the ordinary?
Note to self. This would be a good question to ask Titus. Where's the 8th man?
Light step, number 41 shoe.
I'm guessing that's the skinny hardy boy. The one with his front teeth missing.
Yes.
I could still be wrong, but I'm probably not.
A heavy one, 200 kilograms imprint.
200? This could be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built armored man. Maybe it was a fat hardy boy, the one sitting in the middle.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
You're right, the fat guy from the boot was carrying the victim.
Possibly, yes.
The lieutenant marked something down in his notebook.
But why?
You're thinking, why did they have to carry him?
Yes, they could have used a makeshift stretcher or just march him up to the gallows.
Maybe the victim wasn't conscious.
Even easier to carry on a stretcher, or between 2 men. Anyway, it's for future consideration. What else can you see?
An aberration. One soul is smaller than the other.
Interesting. Let's name it the Odd Soul. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the missing hardy boy. Wonder who he is.
Do you have any ideas, Lieutenant?
Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor. Or maybe a drummer?
So one of the people we're looking for is a drummer.
No, it's not. Forget I said it. We are not looking for a drummer. Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
I was actually thinking the same thing.
He doesn't seem to hear you. Looking south, toward the traffic jam instead. The machines are silent. The engines are all turned off.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no?
Yes, prudent.
Mm-hmm.
How old do you think these tracks are?
A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
How do you know?
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Havashol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week ago.
What do you think happened here?
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. They shuffled around, especially under the tree. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be a lynching.
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
So far, so good. Only one thing missing.
He looks at the tracks, face lighting up from the realization.
Of course, there were 8 tracks, but there are only 7 Hardy Boys.
I know, 8 tracks, 7 Hardy Boys.
Mm-hmm. Which one is missing, do you think? I'm going to say it was our Odd Soul.
So the Old Soul was present at the lynching, but isn't in the mess hall right now.
Yes. I doubt the Hardys are going to tell us who this person is. For now, it's best if we just keep our eyes open. I'm sure our investigation will eventually lead us to the Odd Soul.
The ladder for kids, it wouldn't hold the weight of a grown man.
The corpse lies on the ground among the remains of an absolutely demolished pinewood branch.
Well,
it's gently laid on one side.
Well, it's down. Celebrate in a more reserved manner.
Mr. Measurehead has done a good job. Nothing is too broken or compromised. The victim is ready for a field autopsy.
A field autopsy?
Yes. 1. Investigation of the scene. 2. Initial examination of the victim. 3. Field autopsy. 4. Transportation of the body to the morgue. We are on number 3.
The RCM's 4-phase murder scene processing manual.
The fuck are they on about?
Cop's gonna cut
his shit up.
Don't we have someone else to cut this shit open?
It's not about cutting. And no, you and I are detectives. The honorary rank of detective signifies our ability to handle the entire incident chain, from autopsy to cleanup to social work.
Wait, honorary rank of detective?
An honor and a burden attached to your rank once you've proven yourself able, usually after 5 to 8 years of field work. Mine is lieutenant detective.
Yes, I feel like a detective.
You are. Your station would not have assigned you on this case if you weren't.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Epui Descent, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Do you have another pair of gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
I need a pair then. Can we return this shortly? We have a glove hunting to do.
Let's not go glove hunting, please. Let's use division of labor. I perform the anatomical side, while you take notes.
We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Open your ledger at the field autopsy form.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
Begin. 1. Assistant.
That's you.
Write the initials. HDB.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says...
Coroner case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date, 0803, and time of arrival, 0815, on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Shouldn't you file the coroner's case under me? Technically, I arrived at the scene before you.
And what would that make the alphanumeric?
HDB 41 0803. Help me out with the time of day, anyone? Let's say 1300. A good time to start drinking.
HDB 41-0803. No time of arrival.
Good. Let's go with that.
Name?
NA. Next.
Date of birth?
NA.
Why NA? Oh, it's the guy, not me. Age?
Roughly 50.
Try 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
I'm gonna write 42.
He nods.
Race?
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
Write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex?
Fucky, fucky!
The little monster exclaims energetically.
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
Right, male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death?
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Right, 0403-51.
What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
HDB 41 0803 listens, motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment?
None. At least not after the initial examination.
What exactly is treatment anyway?
interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem.
I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dogwalkers.
He places his hand on the dead man's chest, as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's raining outside, light drizzle. There is darkness in the shed. Elsewhere yet, an obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette ball-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. The building is tall, 7 stories wind-wrapped in solitude. Most of the apartments are unoccupied. This was a suicide. The other, an accident. The small one. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today. 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
Turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External examination summary.
Clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto the side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
What the fuck's wrong with these kids?
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Write it down.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet planted on either side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a national pattern. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini.
Write it down.
The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing.
Write it up.
Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Write it down. Short, light brown, male, pattern baldness.
Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max. Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Write down.
Ligature mark.
The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber-gripped cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope, squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Look for a good spot to cut.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Cut the belt off.
After some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
Press down.
Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has kneeled closer, running his fingers along the dark red groove until there's a gap.
As it ought to. This is where its grip on the curdled meat is gentlest, pulling up.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
Write it up.
Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia...
He pulls down the man's underpants.
No! Let's get out and see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Write it down and move on.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
Bullets have bitten little pieces out of him. It must have been excruciating, especially the hip. Before you is a temple of pain that knew little tenderness in life.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Write it down.
Last item, hands.
He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Let the lieutenant work alone.
Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle.
Write it down.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
Internal examination, summary.
Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Of course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
Nope. Right then.
Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Write it up.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched, as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Right, NA.
Same for toxicology and serology. NA.
Right, NA.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Write it up.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground, the pool of feces there.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse bloated lower abdomen briefly. Write it down, omitted the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries, summary.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body.
Write it up.
And your opinion, officer?
Non-fatal post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusion.
So, The scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
At maximum velocity, fucko!
At maximum velocity, yeah.
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Write it down.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
B. Non-fatal, post-mortem.
Right. Next,
Ligature marks. Finished autopsy.
a dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Write it down.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible.
A. Option. Opinion. Fatal injury.
That's it. We have established cause of death. It's not much, and it leaves much to be questioned. But it's a start. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over.
What now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg.
Rip out a copy of the autopsy pages.
For processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time, then at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Tell me something, dead man.
Shoot, Looney Rooney.
I can't get the damn compartment in my ledger open.
The blue heart. Oh, that's good shit. You'll love it. Just press down and fuck it open like you always do. Fuck it hard. Go-po-po the clown.
Jesus Christ.
He means force. It'll work.
Come back later, Corpo. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If possible, also, see me in your dreams.
Let's bag him, take him away. Let the lieutenant take the body away without further examination.
Okay. I need a little help for carrying him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can take care of the rest.
What should I do in the meanwhile?
Continue working here. The locals, the case, or attend to your own business. I will meet you downstairs in the Whirling in Rags tomorrow morning, 7:30 sharp.
This means Lieutenant Kisuragi will leave the party until tomorrow morning. You're free to do side tasks, and even the main case, though it might be more difficult. If you have nothing to do, read books or sit on the bench on the plaza.
Bag the corpse and drag it to the motor carriage.
An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. An inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite.
Why am I looking at this pile of roofing material?
Because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're too orderly.
Pull the panels aside.
There it is. You see a shabby little door.
An empty tube of magnosolon, magnesium supplement. doorway is going to collapse soon. Restoration pillars keep the runes together. Cured pig's head. It looks mummified. The post says, get out of the way or get fucked up. A silver plate with traces of bone yellow powder.
Be still, my beating heart. It's amphetamine. Sweet amphetamine.
Don't lick it.
Yes, there isn't enough anyway. You'd only be fooling yourself. The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito and bullet holes in the front.
Good mail delivery box, Patter box.
The box seems happy. Eat shit, pig. Fucked by the coon. And St. G with a crown have been scribbled on it. Jenny is a whore. And best set mailbox also.
Bender, Post Levanter, mail collection box, Bender.
The mail collection box seems cathartic, thankful even. So do you. You shudder, then you swallow, and then suddenly you see it. Over all the other graffitos, someone has, using the tip of a very sharp knife, cut the words, Revachol forever. A rusting control panel with loose wire. This panel usually...
Yes, good books. Indeed, good books. Indeed.
You keep coming back. That's good, officer. Keep browsing those clothes. Keep saving that economy.
The speakers below are banged up and worthless. The sneakers triumph over them. They're the star of the show here.
The shine on these sunglasses lasts a lifetime, officer. 100% guaranteed.
Like I'm some cop on an investigation and I'm running around picking up pet bottles to make some money. It's almost like I'm Dirty Harry. Yeah, exactly. Best fucking detective ever. I like also how the picture of him down there looks like Lemmy from Motorhead, but like, yeah, like a zombie version of Lemmy from Motorhead.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Titus does not look particularly happy to see you. I found 8 sets of footprints, but there's only 7 of you. Where's the 8th Hardy Boy?
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy. There's 7 of us, and we're all here.
Nice, nice.
Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
Yeah, I've died one time. I picked a fight with the big muscle guy, the fascist guy, or racist or whatever. The Seminese guy. Yeah, he squished my head. But yeah, then I reloaded and I hit him in the throat, and then I jump spin kicked him in the head. Yeah, he got fucked up.
Actually, boss, we've been talking.
Yeah,
I think she
indeed.
could maybe...
Yeah, after I punched him in the throat, I had 2 options. One was like, yeah, finish him up with the right hook, and the other was like, yeah, do a 360 spinning roundhouse kick. And obviously I was like, yeah, okay, obviously I shouldn't take the spinning fucking kick, because that's gonna fail and then I'm gonna get fucked up or something. So I took like, yeah, finishing off with the right cross, and obviously he just counters that and squishes my head, so I died. It was like, okay.
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
It has to be good if he won't let you pursue it.
Sorry, boss.
Again, just get the dead guy's autograph, since you're his biggest fan.
Good one, Ty.
About fucking.
Can I help you?
I need a drink. Here for
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker?
It's not a shaker. It's nothing.
Say nothing.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this?
He shakes an imaginary shaker furiously.
Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
Because you're not a bartender.
That's right. I'm the cafeteria manager.
You're definitely not a nice
I'm glad
person.
we cleared that. Is there anything else?
What you want is a goddamn drink. How is that so hard to understand? Play it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
I'm an alcohol-operated detective. If if you want me to clean up the dead body and solve the case, then you need to insert alcohol into my
Oh, well, in that case, let me pour you a nice, big, refreshing marinella. Do you want that out of a glass or a pineapple?
Glass.
Don't be an imbecile. I'm not going to serve you a marinella. I have work to do and broken things to fix.
Okay, fuck you, dude. The soft purr of an electronic juicer comes from the kitchen. Someone is working. An aroma of spices, alcohol, and tomato hangs in the air.
A thin man is smoking below an exhaust hood, occasionally sipping from his mug. This must be the Whirling's cook. As you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a completely foreign language. The only words you can make out are Garancy and Kubek. Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Kubek. Please. It's not funny.
Hello, sir. Got time for a few questions?
The man puts his cup down and replies something, his left hand drawing arcs in the air.
Do you know what's behind that door? Point at the blue door.
He looks up at you, then looks away quickly, shrugging and muttering something to himself. Shrugging is an international sign for, no, I don't know what's behind that door.
Leo said you're friends with Manana. Is that true?
The mention of Manana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words and lively gestures. Then he falls silent again.
What's in that borscht you're making there? Points to the large bowl.
The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his and then seems to wait for you to speak. I'm pretty sure he asked you a question. He doesn't know your language. You can just say something cool in return.
Mercury rising. Run your fingers through your hair.
Borscht need more vodka?
Picks up a bottle from the shelf.
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht indeed. Turn it up and then ask for some yourself. Turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg.
No vodka. Turn your fingers counterclockwise. Cut it.
The cook gives you a long, disappointed look, then turns the stove off and seems to wait for you to speak.
We got some impressive pots here.
He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn. It's almost like music, especially with the sounds of assorted dishes boiling and simmering on the stove.
I don't think I need anything else. Stay masculine. Leave. Stay masculine, eh? Yes, stay masculine. What the fuck? There are a lot of things that are what the fuck in this game, that's for sure.
It's the ledger you found in the trash, a cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Open the hidden compartment on the clipboard.
Is still not what happens. Fuck this compartment. You should throw it away.
Motherfucker, just open.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers
I'm
hanging
guessing
from
there's
the board,
cocaine in it.
with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held
Oh,
together
no, I
by a
can't level
clip,
up.
then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
No, because I can only do one, I guess. But what? I can put more points in perception, but I can't put more points in these others. That's a bit weird. Yeah, why is that? Shouldn't all these be like max 1 point extra then? Oh well, I guess I'm not getting the cocaine in my ledger then.
All around you, rain falls on the great city of Revachol. Rain drips from the eaves and floods the gutters, washing the filth away. The spring thaw must be here. The snow is melting.
What am I doing?
Looking up at the sky, cold water dripping from your hat.
What do I see?
Grey sky like great battleships, clouds colliding with one another. Rain falls down on the world.
How does it feel?
Humid. Your coat shields you from the rain while the city shivers around you.
What is in the west?
Sheets of rain over the water. A flight of stairs leading into the ocean. Wave after wave washing the coast of Martinez, with its motorboats and gently swaying reeds. The ruins of a half-sunken sea fort crumble on an inlet beyond the Bay of Revachol. Ghosts rise into the sky.
What is down the shore?
Urban coastline, rain dripping off Eternite-covered roofs. Cinder blocks left over from half-finished construction. A defunct research and development building, once seized by revolutionaries. An old wooden church stands on stilts above the water.
And beyond that?
Coal City, end of all lines.
Who are you, ghosts?
The skyscrapers of La Delta, the financial district. Faint golden light seeps from the office windows.
Run your fingers through your dampened hair.
Your hair is an oily mess flecked with ash from neighboring coal plants. Smokestacks rise somewhere in the distance.
What's in the east?
The great gates of the industrial harbor are locked. A chill runs down your back. You shudder like an animal trying to shake water from its hide.
Shake your shoulders again.
You shudder, looking down at your feet. Dirty rainwater runs veins into the plaza's snow. 2 green snakeskin shoes stand at attention on the mosaic paving of the plaza.
What's in the north?
Capeside apartments. Tower blocks crowd one another. 4.46mm bullets still lodged in their war-torn stone walls. Hallways collapse from the mortar hits of a war that was lost long ago. Clotheslines go to waste in the rain. Radios play. The news at noon.
And close to here?
A yard. Rain falls onto the roof of a woodshed. The lingering odor of decomposition mixes with that of damp soil.
What's in the south?
A traffic jam. Rain thrumming on the roofs of motor vehicles. Inside, drivers watch water streaming down their windshields. The statue of a king shudders. He too is cold. The canal bridge has been raised.
What's on the other side?
The road ascends. A raised motorway loops above the ghetto. Beneath its concrete columns, a sea of rooftops, woodwork, and tar stretches northward. 4-story buildings as far as the rain can fall. The snows melt in Jamrock.
Shudder, look further.
In the rain-swept distance, above the rooftops of Jamrock, a repurposed silk mill stands perched above the motorway exit. Precinct 41 hunches in the rain. Your vision blurs. You wipe your face with your hand. The rain stings your eyes, making you look up and blink.
What's about?
Coalition aerostatics hang like apparitions under the cloud cover. Way up there, where rain forms, rotors flutter silently. Your sight clears.
What's below?
Collapsed storm drains, old sewage systems flooded with rainwater. Hidden weapon caches from the revolution, doors leading down to Le Royaume, the catacombs to which, for 3 centuries, they delivered the blue-blooded dead.
Motherfucker, finished thought.
These spring thaw will not last. The winter will return to Revachol. You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench. Your feet ache.
Think deep thoughts. Wait 1 hour.
You finally stop picking your nose. You wonder if it could...
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
Got any smoke, Sonny?
Nope. Don't smoke.
He nods towards the big lorry behind
Some of the other drivers do, though. There's still a few around, waiting for the jam to disperse. Or waiting for the sweet release of death.
Yup. Nothing wrong with that statement. Your senses have nothing to add. You left the ask around elsewhere.
Guess last run.
You could also check the kiosk down the street. Frit. With 3 T's. Rebishaw's weird.
Indeed. That's all for now. Bye.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune...
A lorry stuck in the windows are clear.
Right to work! Right!
So, how'd you like our harbor?
He stares you with hazy eyes.
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
Labor utopia, not approved.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains.
He nods suddenly and turns to you, a wide smile adorning his face.
Right. You talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. If you have any more questions, I'm set to talk.
An idea who killed the hangman?
The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing?
Merc was hanged with a very specific type of cargo belt, one often used in harbors. It had the word Vermilion written on it.
What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Unless they were pushed, of course.
Pushed how?
Your dead guy was an enemy combatant.
Hold on, what does that mean?
He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts.
Did you kill him?
I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men, with all sorts of skills.
He means a more violent faction could easily take care of such a thing.
Thank you. This has been of limited use.
No problem. I wish the best.
Your race descent has temporarily halted, but you will fall again.
I would not like to conceptualize his racist ideologies. I would rather not.
Looking for something, Rod? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
You're a lorryman, right? What's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? They're shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body.
It takes a long drag on your cigarette. Why not?
You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre, Ilmara. They take the money from our local junkies here and then use it to outcompete us in the manufacturing sector. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight, so they have to get us to weaken ourselves somehow. It's racial sabotage. Racial economic sabotage.
So I take it you're not smuggling drugs out of Martinez.
Not in, not out. I'll never betray the purity of my tribe.
So you're telling me that you don't know anything about drug smuggling through Terminal B?
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
He puffs on his cigarette. Then what are you still hanging around here for? Most other camions have left.
What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night. If they touch my stuff, the bosses will be on my ass like ass cancer.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
I did see one lorry with the trailer doors open on my way here. Do you know what happened?
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics at the Wheeling in Rags when some kip boys smashed his lock and took damn near everything. Lost his fucking job over it. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk to.
If they were getting drunk inside the Whirling in Rags, how could they know who broke into the lorry?
If you all were at the Whirling, how do you know it was Kips who broke into the lorry?
What? Aren't we allowed to say that he's a kips who do all the stealing around here? That's not road science, man.
If it's not you, then who's running drugs through Terminal B?
Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang, that beady-eyed South Samaran. His little side business is a scam. I wouldn't be surprised if he was peddling drugs as well.
With the street vendor south of here, that guy is a lorry driver?
Of course he's a lorry driver. What? He tell you he's just some simple businessman or some shit. He's selling his employer stuff after he broke the seals on his Humanux lorry. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood. He's your man, all right. 100%.
Guess I need to pay him a visit then.
Guess so.
Did this game like get cancelled or something? Yeah, when it was first released, because they're not shy about, yeah, like stating fucking racism and shit like that. Or maybe that was before the cancel culture, I don't know.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
So Sileng, what's your stance on drugs?
Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs.
I'm super into drugs.
That's very cool. A lot of the coolest detectives do drugs. Sadly, I don't have any drugs on sale. Or at my home, or on my person.
He smiles. Proceed, we're looking for a lorry driver who's transporting drugs out of the harbor. He or she is in this traffic jam.
That's even cooler. You investigating that and all. But, I am not a lorry driver. I'm just a street vendor. I don't know anything about that.
But you are a lorry man. Another driver has identified you and your lorry.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him. He has an agenda against me because I'm an immigrant who works harder than he does. He's a hater.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole.
He stops to think.
Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the most important thing about me. That's my day job. This is my dream.
So you forgot to tell me?
Exactly. It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. I'm climbing out of that hole with ingenuity.
Stone Squareman, what do you know about the drug operation at the harbor?
Nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy. I don't get involved with that crowd.
Wait, what crowd?
Crowd. You know, the drug crowd.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a fucking dark game, like, but still, like, yeah, they're very, very edgy with, like, some of the comments and stuff like that. And you know how fucking, yeah, all the whole fucking Karen culture and everyone getting, like, butthurt over anything, basically. It's like, yeah, how the fuck did they get away with that? But maybe it's like such a small title that this didn't even get like mainstream coverage. I don't know. Or maybe the company just doesn't give a fuck.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd. There's more here. He's afraid of this crowd, whoever they are, more than he is of the racist lorry man.
You're wasting my time. Tell me who the fuck is transporting the drugs here.
Shush, please. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know. Please, don't get me into this mess. I spent 15 years working my way up.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
If you don't want to get into this mess, raise your voice. You have to give us a reason to move on.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her, she's no lady.
Who are these other drivers who talked?
All of them. I don't know. I told you all I know. Are we cool now? I really want us to be cool now.
Is the lady driver the old woman back there? Pointed the pale driver, dazed out strange.
I don't know. Maybe. If she is, I haven't gone near her. I don't get involved. I told you.
He's not ruling her out.
Okay, we're cool now.
All right. Very cool. Let's cap this off with a purchase. A pair of funky sunglasses, detective? You deserve it. And I deserve it too. Don't you think?
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Yo, I want your money now.
Oh, okay. But why, officer?
I don't know, it was just the only thing I could come up with in my head. To ask you, I need to get money somewhere.
Yes. Money is very important.
A street vendor nods, dead serious.
You see, I'm an honest entrepreneur. I can't help you if you don't give me a good reason as to why I should. Sorry, detective.
The man grins as if his entire incident is already forgotten.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.
Alright, are you the lady driver?
Did you just call me a lady, Herife?
She clearly doesn't think she's a lady. Don't repeat it.
I was told, woman driver. You're the only woman here.
I'm not that either, Herife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. It doesn't work like that on the long haul.
So you're not the driver everyone is terrified of?
I'm only terrifying to small children and to those who used to know me.
Why are you scary to people who used to know you?
Because they can no longer recognize the person I once was.
You said long haul, that's...
The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there. It's all just...
She hums long as expensive to track on repeat.
In the middle of this town, there's a ghostly motorway. It takes all the people where they want to stay.
You feel very cold suddenly, as if standing face to face with a terrifying adversary. Then the feeling dissipates, and all you see is an aging woman. In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air.
Then who is the female driver I was told of?
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers sniffing around when I have my movies to go to?
That's all I need to know, thanks.
Awesome.
The woman stares at you, her mind elsewhere now, on other matters.
Something in her is pulling towards some unknown rest state. She twitches, like a sleep kick.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind?
I heard that one of the drivers is a woman, but I don't think she's here. Do you know this lady driver?
I don't want to talk about that.
She shifts around, suddenly uncomfortable, then looks away. I don't mean to try, but I need her help. She may be involved with the drug business.
Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is.
I asked you who's conducting the drug trade. You said you didn't know. Now you're saying you do.
I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it.
Bah. Emotional rhetoric. He knew something and he didn't share it with you. That's a fact.
Who is this person? What's her name?
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why.
Who is she to you?
A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay?
What does she look like?
A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way.
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
Then she may have dyed it again.
When did she leave?
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person. I know that much.
I can't just let it go. It's part of a police investigation.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience.
You said that she is troubled. How?
She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out.
She shared this with you?
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her.
I was told everyone's afraid of her. You're not.
I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her.
Does this violent life include drug trafficking?
Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind.
When she left, did she leave her lorry behind?
Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out.
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Wait, this guy says they're friends. Then, acquaintances. And he's okay with others ratting her out. Push Tommy and it will break his heart. And his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need that info, son.
Fine, I would drop the matter for now. Find another way.
Thank you, friend.
Looking for something, Hunt? Come to tell me to fuck off again?
I know you've been giving me the runaround. Fess up, where's the lady driver?
I don't know what you're talking about.
First you knew Selene didn't do it.
He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another honest lorryman's job. Talk to him. I don't know anything.
Then why are you smirking?
Listen up, fuckwit. You don't scare me. You cubs don't run Rivachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run shit.
So who does? You?
I ain't saying nothing.
Isn't saying nothing saying something? Or did I just blow your mind?
Yes, you are. Or you're coming to the station.
No, I'm not. I'm not coming anywhere. And you're not taking me there. Nah, fuck off. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just tell me, which one's her lorry?
Listen up, fuckwit. You don't scare me. You cubs don't run Rivachol West. You don't run Martinez. You don't run
So who does?
shit.
The lady driver?
I ain't saying
Isn't saying nothing saying something? Or did I just blow your mind?
Who is the lady driver? You won't get into trouble.
I'm not in trouble right now, and I don't have to tell you a single thing. Now, fuck off.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune...
Stuck in the rain in a
Sorry, you
traffic
told
jam,
me.
man. What? But I told you she's
So
my
you're all
friend.
right with others ratting her out. You
Please
just
don't make
want
me
your
give her
hands
up.
dirty.
Fine. I don't want to be a butcher. And I don't want to be a knight either. I just want to be a person who can sleep at night. A little fame wouldn't hurt too.
So put yourself in my shoes. I need this for another investigation too. It's important. I can't blow.
You're not going to put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you? Because she's on the edge, man.
I wouldn't be so sure, Tommy.
She's a suspect, and I need you to tell me where she is, or I can't finish the investigation. Force Tommy.
I thought you were a different kind of cop.
Something breaks in him as he stares into your eyes.
Remember, you're doing it for the bigger investigation. This is important. Relax. Ask.
Where is the lady driver?
Here.
Yeah. He takes a keyring from his pocket, then looks at it before he gives it to you in silence.
Her lorry's still here. Down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green. You can get in there with these. That's all I know.
When did she leave?
Last Friday.
Anything else? Like where she is now?
No. I don't know.
And why did you have the keys?
She left them to me. Because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the way when the jam breaks loose. Otherwise...
He doesn't finish the sentence.
The other drivers would have to break in there to get the machines moving. And they would find what's hidden inside. Something incriminating.
I'm sorry I had to do this.
I bet you are.
I'll go to the cabin then.
This screen found, A to Z, contemporary, is parked in the shadow of the ruins looming overhead. It's seen better days. This is the one the man pointed to. His friend's lorry.
Unlock the door with key Tommy gave you.
You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a cracking sound. Then the door pops back a few centimeters. You can just
open it.
The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered with old movie posters. Actresses smile from the walls. There's a radio transmitter in the front and a toolbox tucked under the driver's seat. Some tools lie scattered near the pedals.
Admire the posters.
These are movie posters featuring starlets from long-forgotten films from the 20s, the teens, even the 90s of the last century. One of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an ingenue attached right above the back seat.
Study the centerfold.
The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders bared. The faded remains of an autograph run across the poster. She's looking past the camera. Wait, doesn't she resemble someone you know? But you can't put your finger on whom exactly. This is Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of cinematography, less known for her talent than her tragic, untimely death. She wasted away in a drug den called the Door to the River, not far from here, on Boogie Street, a mixture of cocaine and morphine. She was afraid of the world, and the camera, too.
Now for the posters.
The actresses and the rear actor all smile you a warm goodbye. A radio transmitter is attached to the dashboard, and a toolbox sits under the driver's seat.
Examine the radio.
Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires a key to work, but the key has been removed, likely by the missing lady driver. The peculiar frequency tableau indicates that at least 128 stations have been saved on this radio.
Is there anything I can do with the radio?
Not without the dial key, no.
Why would anyone need so many radio stations?
Unclear. For contacting an entire fleet of lorries, for example. This must be the nerve center of a well-organized operation.
Look around the cabin.
The ghostly actresses,
Check the pedals.
and you wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look. Seems like the few tools lying around here, a hammer, a pair of pliers, a rusty wrench, have been casually thrown there by the disorganized driver. But one odd detail does catch your eye. A piece of sandpaper has been glued to the throttle. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
The sandpaper would also rub off the pattern from the driver's right boot sole.
Matching one of the footprints found from the crime scene, which means that the missing lady driver was present at the lynching.
Wait, the missing 8 Hardy.
Looks like it, yes.
And she's also the one running the drug trade. What a handful.
You've identified the missing 8th person at the lynching. Do you think that Hardy and his boys had anything to do with the drug trade?
The entire union might be involved. Maybe even all of Martinez. Look around suspiciously.
You should talk to them. See what they've got to say for themselves. The movie stars are still smiling from the walls.
Pull out.
There's a radio. A metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's empty, except for a folded newspaper.
Unfold the newspaper.
It's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. A piece of paper falls out from its pages.
Pick up the note.
It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast magazine. Complex mathematical equations explain the basics of something called the Ulan frequency system. These formulas look oddly painful. Maybe it's the hangover, but they give you a headache.
Push in the pull-out toolbox.
The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest.
Close the door.
Close the rusty old lorry door. Your job here is done.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here.
Titus does not look particularly happy to see you again. Guess what? I've connected you to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 kilos.
You're right. There is no local drug trade, except you, pointed Titus.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers,
even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
This is disgusting. You're admitting to profiting off of poisoning your own people.
Boo fucking who. People will always be taking drugs. Might as well do it clean and organized.
Yeah, that's what the labor movement is all about. Clean and organized. And the Hardy Boys are running it.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
The 8 Hardy, the one who's missing. She runs the thing, right?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardy. I run this goddamn scene.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
A woman's eyes.
I know! Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
I'm going to take off. There was more construction here once, decades ago.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I spoke with the Lorderman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbor have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, where exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this.
One of the tall buildings overlooking the roundabout, most likely. That would give them a read on the entire quarter.
In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
We turn up quite a few interesting things, actually. Share information.
Ah, good to hear. I wouldn't want to pry into a confidential police matter, but in the event you'd like to share more, I would like to know who it was.
It's a she, by the way.
Clever. If you suspect a woman in this sort of skullduggery, good move on their part.
It seems the architect of the operation has gone missing, and a Benno's lorry is near the statue.
A runaway. Good work. This is a tangible lead towards solving the whole mystery.
She's a fan of vintage movie stars. The inside of the cab was plastered with posters.
We contain multitudes, do we not? It might not be pertinent to her profession, but who knows? It may help you find her yet.
I saw a real advanced radio system with a lot of stations saved.
That speaks of the vastness and sophistication of the operation. Were you able to examine the radio?
Unfortunately, the dial knob was missing and the radio itself was inoperable.
Sensible for her to disable access to such essential information.
I found research about something called Ulan, frequencies related to the operation.
High-intensity microwave frequencies. They're used for navigational purposes, to compress the inter-eastlery space. They may use it to communicate with incoming freighters.
As the shipments approach Revachol? Somehow you suspect something more sinister.
I told you what I found. Now it's your turn.
I appreciate you placing your trust in me. Thank you again for looking into this matter. You have my gratitude,
and the gratitude of Wild Pines Group. Now, per our original agreement, it's time for me to share company secrets with you.
There's a change in your demeanor. A caution comes over attention.
I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
The words bloodbath sound cold in her mouth. They taste of iron and strawberries.
I've already heard about the connection between the lynching and the strike, but I need your testimony.
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They're meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they?
Crenell, an Odanese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment. The story is, one of them, the Colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbor. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenell contractors carry out their orders, for now.
For now?
It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
Maybe the investigations can team up, share resources and intelligence.
Surely you're joking. These people are killers. My only hope is that yours provides a single, concrete suspect before they indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
She grabs hold of the mainsail.
if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
The Union has over 2,000 men.
The numbers are against them, 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, detective? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all. As I said, a bloodbath.
Isn't this a pretty bleak scenario you're describing?
Many bleak scenarios have already come true. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia. All we can do is keep the rest from following suit. One single, concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
What was that about a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
What can you tell me about Crenell?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell. They boast a long list of clients: Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eendracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in 3rd or 4th world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Okay, anything else you can tell me?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
She thinks.
If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
She thinks.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is charged with coordinating law enforcement activities in complex multinational investigations. Their database is the single largest source of information in the world.
Probably.
Ah, yes, your condition. The International Collaborative Police maintains a database for these sorts of things. Perhaps you should consult it. It was just a suggestion.
Could you contact the company? Tell them to call them off.
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
It's the first time I've heard of this. Where did this assault take place and when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
And who was this woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
This colonel, the one who was hanged, did you know?
If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him.
His name was?
Lely. His service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Tell me about the other two.
One is a man. Corty, they call him. A nickname as well. The other a woman. Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio operator.
Is Lily anything else? Nationality? How old would you say he was?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oronese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining two mercs?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
I'll still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Where are these mercenaries?
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbour gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans is barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
One must be the goon in ill-fitting work clothes by the harbour gate, the scab leader.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
The situation at the gates is a powder
One is
keg.
probably in the building
She says
overlooking
she
the
was...
roundabout.
Would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
I had another question for you.
I hope I can answer it better.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob, and their impatience.
What? You mean you don't know what's going on?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
That's enough for now.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
Now, can you tell me about these tattoos? Show her the photo.
Of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
She reaches over the guard wire and takes the photo, holds it in her hand.
For about half a minute, in silence.
Stay quiet, observe the woman's expression.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
What do you think?
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points. The stars.
She points to the one on the photo paper.
I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Port cities. On the oceans. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Delorian century. As early as 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels.
Who could tell me more?
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Surely there are other people to ask about the tattoo. This is not necessary to complete the task, officer. It's a dangerous side task. Search elsewhere. Challenge accepted. I say we do it.
I need your information. Mark it down. Ask Mercs about tattoos.
Do what you have to do, Detective. I don't think deciphering that tattoo should come before public security. But if you should wade into the mob to find out, I couldn't stop you.
What is the use of this map?
The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it.
What travels did the dead man make?
Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
Then what?
Then he made his way to the Pretto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Pretto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semnes Islands, then this.
She points to his heart. What is that?
Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Interinsulary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it. Seems like you can.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
That's all for the tattoos. Thank you for your help.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
Thank you. That's all for now.
The streets will flow red once more. A great torrent rushing down Rue de Esperance. You wait and see.
You seem pretty cool. Who are you?
I'm Cindy the fucking Skull. What else do you want to know? Date of birth, blood type, the last time I was tested for Hep C.
Just answer some questions, okay?
Ask away, pigman. But I don't promise to answer.
Despite the sass, she puts the brush aside. You keep looking off to the side. What are you looking at?
The lieutenant is desperately searching for another handkerchief. Hatred, disgust. It's difficult to tell which of the two is more present in her girlish features. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring.
That is on her. Someone's got to keep an eye on her.
Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from Revachol. Its moneyed residents, used to posh restaurants and upscale boutiques, rarely have reason to visit Martinez.
Baby. mean Joyce?
On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world.
Why all the negativity?
Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor?
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a beautiful mural, an aereo graffitio visible from low orbit. I haven't really started it yet. I'm waiting for the right words.
So you don't know what to write?
Have you ever tried your hand at graffitio? When faced with a blank wall, most people write unimaginative stuff, like pigs go home, and Mona was here. We rarely see pigs round here, though. Just union cats. And my name's not Mona, so...
Why are you so committed to defacing the building?
This place is severely lacking in havoc. Not even the occasional trash can fire to break up the tedium. I thought I'd mix it up, you know. Summon the forces of crime and social chaos.
I have an opinion on
With
this.
a
Wanna hear it?
wall-sized... Yeah?
I'm gonna have to stop you. This is hooliganism.
What are you gonna do? Climb up here? I'm unstoppable.
I don't condone the idea of using physical force on her. She's a girl.
Do you know anything about the recent murder?
I ain't no snitch, Pigstein. Go forth and forage in someone else's shit. No shortage of squealers in these parts.
Catch you later, Cindy.
Watch your back, ungulate. You've got eyes on you.
Can I help you?
About my bill for tonight.
Got the 20 real? Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
Well, if I'm forking out fucking 20 royals a night, can you clean my room? The fuck?
The window stands broken in its frame. Cold wind blows in.
Assess the damage.
The shards face outward. Whatever broke this window came from the inside.
Did I break it with my own hands?
A fine web of scarring covers the back of your right hand, but none of it is recent.
What did this then?
More likely a projectile than a held object. There are no fragments on the floor from pulling a tool back in after impact.
Assess the size of the impact.
It is too large for a bullet, yet too small for a piece of furniture. You're looking for something heavy and larger than your fist. The shoe you found on the balcony fits the hole almost as well as your foot. It would have also been heavy enough if thrown with force. Congratulations. You smashed the window with your own shoe.
What a stupid thing to do.
Pretty much. But hey, at least you found your shoe. Not that it will keep you warm at night. This fan has two chain pull switches. One ends in a tiny fan, the other in a light bulb. A truly horrific necktie has somehow attached itself to one of the blades. Wow, you work hard.
I do?
Oh, yes. You hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
Yeah, I guess I do, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like a horse. A workhorse. For hard work.
I'm asking too much, yes. That's a problem I have. I go through every line of dialogue, you know, so I ask everything.
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
I fucking ride till I die, bitch.
That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco Negros and the Solas. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
Oh, you mean that? Yeah, I don't know. Fuck, I paid $130 in, or reals in damages. Just that alone should make them fucking clean my room, but yeah, I guess not. And fix the door to my shitter. I don't know. Goddamn lazy asses. Oh, and then there's pulling stuff off to that suspicious Roy guy.
Yeah, you're in the sales business. Shake 'em for shit and then pawn it off. Law officer style.
You could say I took some money from that Manana guy.
You didn't log that in as a donation either. You don't log any of that shit in. You're a straight rider.
I guess I made some gills.
Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself, are you rich?
Actually not.
That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that?
Because of that Garth guy riding my ass.
The Garth man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think with your head.
There's a market for corrupt cops out there, but the immigrant cops have price dumped it. Yeah, I don't know about that. Fucking taxes, man.
That's right. 100%. Fucking G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Our tax is almost non-existent in the Gotham estate that is Revachol.
I thought there were no taxes.
You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The Gotham Estate's a myth. In total, the coalition government is taking 98% of all your money.
No fucking way. I guess I'm a free market fundamentalist now.
Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth furiously on the tax issue.
Yeah, fuck the taxes.
Kingdom of Conscience. The Kingdom of Conscience will be exactly as it is now. Moralists don't really have beliefs. Sometimes they stumble on one, like on a child's toy left on the carpet. The toy must be put away immediately, and the child reprimanded. Centrism isn't change. Not even incremental change. It is control over yourself and the world. Exercise it. Look up at the sky, at the dark shapes of the Coalition airships hanging there. Ask yourself, is there something sinister in moralism? And then answer, no. God is in his heaven. Everything is normal on Earth.
Bonuses from the thought. Moralist dialogue options, heal +1 morale. Learning cap for volition raised to 5, learning cap for logic raised to 5. That's a decent one, no negatives on that one, so. Oh yeah, learning cap for perception raised to 5, that's why I have that shit. Speed gives 1 psi. Oh, okay, so I can spend skill points to unlock more slots. Rigorous self-critique.
This fan has 2 chain pull switches. One ends in a tiny
Grab the tie.
the other in a... Oh no.
For fuck's sake, catch the fucking tie, you
didn't catch it, and now
sucker.
there's a numbness in half your chest. You can take this. It's not nearly as bad as the last time.
Read in and out, call me.
This isn't a real heart attack. You should probably just exercise. The bed is still cold from the broken window, and not too inviting, but it's yours. You've earned it.
Time to rest. For what?
The bed is still cold from the broken window, and not too inviting, but it's yours.
Why is there no time to rest it?
The window stands broken. You see some lights shimmering outside. You sit on the wind-worn wood. Time passes. You wonder. This case is unsolved.
It's you again. What is it?
I told you, Joyce, the Murky Hand. His friends are coming for you.
Yeah. By friends, you mean his squad mates from Crenell.
Wouldn't want to beat up his grandma.
The snickering in the room. Some of the men put their beers down.
Nervous, snickering. There's a rush of adrenaline present.
Yeah, they're forming some kind of tribunal and coming.
Let them come. The Hardy Boys are right fucking here.
You heard the man. Right here. We're armed. We got the whole district behind us. And Glenn. Glenn is fucking crazy.
Indeed, Glenn is fucking crazy.
A well-oiled murder machine.
The punch is blondie on the shoulder.
The mood is on the rise. They're feeling confident, ready to punch out the whole Merc platoon.
This Cornell is bad news, you know that, right?
So are the local gangs. The fucking Barmy Army and the Madre scum. You've been out there. Seen any around?
Yeah. Where are they now, huh? Sent back to Madre in an airtight cargo crate.
Joyce said they've gone rogue. Nobody's controlling them.
Big fucking surprise. They hire psycho scum, arm them to the teeth, and let them loose into city. What do you think is gonna happen?
He's really prepped himself up for this. He has to keep the fear in check.
The mercenaries are armed with automatic weapons.
We got weapons of our own. We got Ister 50s, Zeelagers. Glenn's got a knock cannon at home.
Will they pierce ceramic armor?
I guess we're gonna see, aren't we?
That was an unsure phrasing.
See what? That they don't?
Yeah, like you've been up against ceramic armor.
He takes a sip of a beer to buy this time, then tries to get the last word.
You haven't even seen the whole suit, right? I've seen the whole fucking thing, and it didn't make him immortal.
Do you think that did you know that a single Cerise giant hornet can kill 40 bees a minute?
The fuck is that supposed to mean?
You're the bees, they're the hornets.
We're not bees. We're men. We're socialists.
Easy, E. He's trying to phase you. What are you trying to do? Scare my men?
Okay, conclude with a shrug.
What do you mean, okay?
I mean, okay, they're going to wipe you the fuck out, Titus.
No, they won't. Get out of here with your negative energy. No wonder you cops get shot to shit every day. Can't go to war with an attitude like that.
I'm going to take off now.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why are you wasting your time?
You're the 8th Hardy boy, a Hardy girl.
I am not.
She says dryly.
You could be Liz. You could be anything. You could even be a model.
Even a mod? Glenn, I went to law school. I am an attorney.
He's right. With a face like that, she could be on the cover of Le Debutante International.
He's right, you know, you're very pretty.
The cold look in her eyes speaks louder than words. She is not amused. It's not her. She's not a hardy girl. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression.
Dig deep into your mind to locate the source of the expression.
Like the rest of you, it comes from a bad place.
Okay. My Xbox got pissed and turned itself off. Hopefully it fucking auto-saved not too long ago. Oh well, fuck it. I'll just go sleep. Thanks for the company. Ooh, the win. Good night.